What is good, people? Welcome back to another video on 8 Count. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you my picks for the UFC 279 pay-per-view card. Khamzat Chimaev taking on Nate Diaz in a kind of a weird sort of main event for a pay-per-view card. But anyway, guys, before we get into the video, if you do enjoy it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming content. Leave a comment down below, let me know which fighters you think are going to win on the night. And let's get straight into it. It's a jam-packed sort of card. It's not like the most outrageous in terms of big names, but it's got quality throughout the card. So I'm really looking forward to this one. We'll kick off with the main event, and I think it is an interesting one. Nate Diaz is a heavy underdog, and you can see the UFC fighters giving their picks and stuff like that, and they're saying he's got a 0% chance. And it's kind of weird because Nate is this sort of guy who tends to get these sort of matchups, and I think it's probably because of his relationship with the UFC being so poor that he doesn't ever get really like a favorable matchup, and he's kind of fed to the Lions time after time after time. In this fight, it's no different. Khamzat Chimaev, he's, I guess you could say, the hottest shit right now in the UFC, coming off a massive win over Gilbert Burns. It's a hard fight for me to pick because I do believe that Chimaev is a reasonable favourite and is most likely going to go in there and destroy Nate Diaz. Not in terms of he's going to finish him in the first round or anything like that, but I feel like he's just going to be too strong everywhere the fight can go. I think there are question marks over Khamzat Chimaev, but I think they kind of can be shut down straight away. I think if you look at the Gilbert Burns fight, I think he's very arrogant and kind of naive going into the fight. Obviously, it played into his favour in the end because he got a massive victory, but he's kind of trading a bit recklessly at times, and I don't think his gas tank looked the greatest, but I think that can be kind of looked upon because he was trading massive blows with Gilbert Burns and his foot was on the pedal the entire time. Is the gas tank really going to be a problem against Nate? He's going to pretty much be able to dictate the fight wherever he wants it to go. He's going to be able to dictate the pace as well. I don't think Nate Diaz has got the sort of stopping power to really earn the respect of Chimaev and to be able to back up Chimaev. So in that case, it is interesting. I think if the fight goes to the floor, yes, Nate Diaz has got a brilliant, sort of jiu-jitsu game and he's very well-rounded off his back. But I feel like the top pressure of Chimaev is just going to be too much for him. I think you can look back through Nate's career and you look at what Rafael dos Anjos did to him and stuff like that, and I just feel like this is a horrible matchup for him wherever the fight takes place. I think on the feet, I think Nate might be the quicker of the two, but not by much. I feel like Chimaev is a very explosive striker. I think Nate relies on timing and technique. I just don't see this one going any other way than a Chimaev win. Is the stoppage going to happen? I believe so. I don't think it'll be a KO or anything like that. I feel like Nate is too tough, and I think even if he ends up on the bottom, his jiu-jitsu game is good enough to keep him safe. I feel like there's probably a high chance that this one is stopped by a doctor's stoppage due to some sort of cut opened up by Khamzat Chimaev. I think it's going to be a great fight as long as it lasts. I think it's probably going to be quite similar to Masvidal versus Nate Diaz in that sort of sense. But yeah, I feel like I would love to put like a cheeky bet on Nate Diaz, but I feel like it's just unfavorable that he's going to get this victory. But if he does, it would be a massive FU to the UFC on his way out. So personally, I'd kind of like to see it. I think it would be great storylines, and for Nate, he's someone who hasn't really got the sort of love he sort of deserved at times within the UFC. This would be a great way to leave on an absolute high, taking out one of, the hottest prospects in the UFC. We move on to the co-main event. Tony Ferguson is back after his knockout defeat to Michael Chandler. I feel like this is a really tough matchup. Obviously, Ferguson's going up in weight now. He's going to go fight at 170. I think it's probably a smart move. I think at 155, at his age, it's very hard to compete at the top level. I also think the weight cut is probably not a good thing at this stage in his career. Against Leach, though, it's an interesting matchup because I think Leach is a very physical sort of fighter at 170, so it's not like Tony Ferguson is going up and he's fighting kind of like an undersized sort of welterweight. He's fighting someone who is a proper welterweight who's, been in the division a long time. And, he's picked up some good victories along the way as well, Leach. For me, I think on the feet, Leach is dangerous, man, because he has that ability to set you up like he kind of showed in his last fight, which was a really impressive KO finish. I feel like Ferguson is unorthodox, and I think at times this fight may look a little bit stale on the feet in terms of not too much action. I feel like a lot of people are expecting Tony Ferguson to just bounce back and be the fighter that he was, but I think that guy's gone. I think he's gone a long time ago. If I was to pick right now, I feel like a decision for Ferguson wouldn't be the most unlikely of outcomes because of the way this fight may play out. But I'm going to go with a Leach win. I think he could get, even in positions where he's maybe on top, and I feel like it's going to be hard for Ferguson to maybe deal with the heavier guys now at 170 off his back. Yes, he's got an amazing sort of ground game, especially off his back, but I think he might struggle with, the sort of physicality that Leach is going to bring. And I think Lee's going to get this one done, even potentially by a finish, maybe a bit later on in the fight. I could see Leach, getting him out of there quite early. I do think it's unlikely. I think this fight is going to take a little time to kind of heat up. But I think when it does, it's going to be extremely exciting and super fun. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm going to go with a Leach third round finish. Tony Ferguson is tough as fuck. And, without the weight cut now, is his durability going to be even more improved? I think it's going to be one that we're going to have to wait and see on the night. Obviously, that knockout was bad against Chandler, so it's definitely one where, he might even be more of a shell of himself than he was before. But yeah, I'm going to go with Leach third round finish. Move on to Kevin Holland against Daniel Rodriguez. Saying this one's at a catch weight. I don't know if it's some sort of short notice or anything like that. But both are applying their trade at 170 at this moment in time. For me, I feel like in this fight, Kevin Holland's going to have a lot of advantages in terms of his speed and his ability to kind of dictate the distance. But Daniel Rodriguez is a very game sort of fighter, and his boxing skills are going to give Holland difficulties at times, in my opinion. I think if he can get, the jab going in motion, potentially could give Holland some troubles, but I think it's going to be a hard one for Rodriguez. I think the speed and sort of accuracy which Kevin Holland has showed so far at 170 makes him extremely dangerous. However, I do think Tim Means had success in their fight. I forgot Kevin Holland's first fight at 170, but I felt like his opponent in that fight gave him some troubles as well. I think this one might be a decision. I think Rodriguez is super tough. I could see potentially either guy kind of stealing, the first round and the other guy having a great second and third round. I could see it both ways. I feel like Kevin Holland's probably going to get the win. I think, you look at that reach advantage. What's that? 6 inches? No, 7 inches, sorry. I think that's going to be really important. Holland's very good and kind of sneaky in the way of, finding those sort of straight punches, and it's going to be a tough fight. I feel like this one could be a bit of a war, potentially a decision either way. I'm probably going to lean Kevin Holland. I think he could get a finish as well. I think it'd be interesting if this one goes to the ground. I think Kevin Holland's jiu-jitsu game, very underrated. I wonder what sort of tactics Rodriguez is going to come in with. I'm pretty sure he's going to be the one looking to be on the front foot and push the fight. I don't see him wanting to grapple with Kevin Holland too much. But if it does go down now, I wouldn't be surprised if Holland got a submission win. But I'm going to go with a Kevin Holland unanimous decision. We move on to Irene Aldana against Macey. I always struggle to say this girl's name. Chiasson, is it? For me, Macey's a girl who's kind of been in the UFC now for quite a while, but really hasn't made a name for herself. I feel like Irene is just tough as they come, and kind of embodies that sort of Mexican sort of style, and I find it hard to pick against her in this fight. Macey's had some decent wins, but I'd say she's been pretty lackluster at times inside the UFC cage, and I'm going to go for this one pretty quick. I'm going to go with an Irene Aldana. I'm going to go with her for a decision win. I just struggle to see Macey really being able to do too much. I know her striking is fairly decent, but I feel like the tenacity and the sort of aggressiveness of Irene is probably going to get her the win in this fight. Johnny Walker taking on Ion Cutelaba. This is a tough fight to pick. Both guys have had really exciting fights and, showed that they can be really dangerous. But both guys have had some really poor losses as well. If I was to pick this one right now, I'm going to go with Ion Cutelaba. I feel like he's got that ability to kind of press the range on Johnny Walker and kind of not give Walker that ability to make it the sort of fight where he's able to pick his shots at distance and, come in with flying knees and stuff like that. I feel like he can get in his face, and I think, the chin of Johnny Walker has been proven to be quite vulnerable. I feel like this is a win for Cutelaba for sure. But I think it's a tough fight to pick, but I feel more comfortable with going with Cutelaba, who is actually a favourite on this fight, -200. So I'm not really surprised by that, but I think Johnny Walker is a guy with so much talent, and I know he's training at SBG. I forgot what it's called. Straight Blast Gym, isn't it? But I don't think it's probably the right fit for him. I think it's probably family reasons why he's over there. I think he's got a girlfriend or fiance he's with who's Irish or something like that. But I'd like to see him go back to America. I feel like a different sort of camp would probably suit him more. Probably work on his skill set. I feel like he's a dangerous guy and he could make a really good run at light heavyweight if he could get the right sort of game plan going into some of these fights, because in terms of skills, he's got a lot of skills. I just think he's got to pull it all together. But I'm going to go with a Cutelaba win here, which might be, knockout of the night. Moving on to the prelims, Hakeem Dawodu versus Julian Juicy J Rosa. I like Hakeem, man. I feel like his style is one of the more entertaining ones in UFC. I feel like he's one of those fighters who hasn't really broke into the top 15 or anything like that, but he's built a brand for himself that he's always going to be in entertaining fights. And same can be kind of said for Julian Rosa. He's had some big losses in the past and he's had some really big wins as well. A super game sort of guy. His stand-up's dangerous, but he leaves himself vulnerable at times. I'm going to go with Dawodu here, though. I feel like his style is probably the more cleaner of the two. I feel like he's more defensively responsible. And therefore, I feel like Rosa might be chasing a bit in this fight and maybe even get caught. I'm going to go with Dawodu second round knockout, but this one could be crazy. This could be fight of the night. Move on now to Jolton Almeida versus Anton Turkalch. I don't know how to say this guy's name. I'm pretty sure he's new to the UFC because I'm pretty sure I haven't seen him before. But I did check out one of his fights on YouTube just now. I think it lasted like all of 12 seconds. I think he went up for some sort of head kick. I think he fell short, but went with a spinning back fist and knocked the guy out and then ran straight out of the octagon to the changing rooms. So this guy's wild. But I feel like from what I've seen from Jolton, which isn't much, but I can recall his last fight, which I'm pretty sure was against, what's his name? Porter. Something like that. Porter something. I thought it was a really impressive win. I think he looked really good on the feet, but when he got on top, he proved that he's very dangerous as well. His top pressure was really good. I think coming into this fight, the odds have to be wrong here because I don't understand in what world Jolton Almeida would be a plus 500. Obviously, the stats are wrong here. I'm pretty sure this guy's 8-0. And I'm saying catch weight, but I don't know what sort of weight it's going to be fought at because I think Jolton can probably be a 205, but he's fought at heavyweight in the past. But it's going to be a fun fight. I'm going to go with a Jolton win. I feel like he's probably, from what I've seen, which isn't much from both guys, in all fairness, I think he's got the more well-rounded skill set. I wouldn't be surprised as Anton came in and scored some crazy first-round knockout. But I think the longer this fight goes on, the more it suits Jolton and his style, because he can, on the feet, he's more sort of well-rounded probably. And I think if he can get on top with some of his top game, I think he can cause problems for Anton. But we'll have to wait and see. I think this is a really intriguing matchup. Two younger guys making their way up in the heavier divisions, which I think it's always nice to see a bit of fresh blood up there. We'll move on to what fight should we do? Jamie Pickett. I mean, I don't know who his opponent is here, but he's always in some fun fights. So, hopefully he can put in a good performance, because I feel like he lost it must have been one of his more recent performances that he lost the fight. But I've always enjoyed his style. That'll be fun. But I want to talk about this sloppy matchup right here. Jake Collier taking on Chris Barnett at heavyweight. I feel like this fight is just made for a prelim opener or a main card opener on some sort of fight night card. Both guys getting there to bring it. I think Collier, since, obviously the drastic sort of move up in weight to heavyweight, hasn't really been as competitive as maybe, if you're looking at his middleweight days, you thought he maybe could have been. Probably, it's hard to say undersized, because he's not short and, he does carry a lot of weight, but he just doesn't seem like a heavyweight. I think that does give him certain advantages, though, for sure. Despite being quite a big guy, he has, pretty decent speed. And that can be said the same for Chris Barnett, who is certainly a very athletic fighter, throws a lot of crazy shit. I think a lot of people remember the victory against Jean Vellante, the crazy spinning kick of some sort. I can't even think what it was off the top of my head. But yeah, this matchup does have potential to be fireworks. Obviously, Chris Barnett, I think, was slightly disappointed in his last fight, which he lost. And that would make me lean towards Collier. I think in terms of hand speed and discipline within boxing range, I think it probably favours him. I think, Chris Barnett could score some crazy knockout, but he's one of those fighters who I think doesn't probably look good, the longer the fight goes on. I think Collier's the more disciplined, and I feel like his striking attributes probably lean more in his favour in this fight. I think his ability to have that decent footwork at heavyweight is probably going to give him quite an advantage in terms of striking defense. He's going to be able to get out of range of some of Barnett's, sort of crazy attacks. And that'll be a fun one for sure. That's pretty much it. We got the early prelims here, but I'm pretty sure no one wants to talk about them. Norma Dumont, against Danielle Wolf. That could be fun, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know your picks, guys, in the comments down below. I'd like to see if any of you gone with Nate Diaz. I'd love to see a Nate Diaz win, but I just think it's so unlikely. But it's going to be a fun fight no matter what. And I know we've got another great card coming up next week. Sandhagen against Song Yadong. That should be fun. I'll be back with my picks and my reaction to this card next week. I'm going to have another video coming up not long after this one. So by the time you're watching this, it's probably already up on the channel. If you enjoy your boxing, I'm going to be giving you my prediction for Clarissa Shields. I forgot the other girl's name off the top of my head. Clarissa Shields versus... who knows? Anyway, but it's going to be up on the channel. You might be shocked with who I pick, considering I can't remember the other girl's name. But be sure to leave a like on this video and comment down below. Let me know who you're picking. Just give me your main card picks. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming content. I'll see you in a bit for my Shields versus... Anyway, I'll see you in a bit. Peace out.